So, referrals used to be the gold standard, the warm nod that built your practice. But what I'm seeing right now, and probably many of you listening to this episode will most likely agree, that right across the legal and dispute resolution world is that referrals alone don't carry the weight that they used to. I'm Sylvie Garibaldi, founder and CEO of a well established marketing training and done for you services company, tailored specifically for the modern legal and financial professional worldwide. While it's taken some trial and error to figure out which methods get the best results for professionals who are looking to grow their practices, fast forward to today, my team and I have nailed down and perfected a process that has helped so many of our clients consistently achieve outstanding results and create a legacy for their practices. I created the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast to give you simple, actionable, non-salesy, and results-driven marketing to grow your legal or financial practice like so many of our clients have. If you're a lawyer, mediator, financial, or divorce professional who is looking to become highly visible and wants to create a practice that makes an impact, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 92 of the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast. I'm your host, Sylvie Garibaldi. Today, I want to get real about something that honestly feels like no one is really talking about, or at least not talking about enough. And so, you know how referrals have always been the gold standard for building a practice, right? And so, that trusted nod from a friend, a colleague, or a past client, it's really been your bread and butter. But here's what I'm seeing right now, right across the legal and dispute resolution field. So, time and time again, I talk to professionals who say, wow, I got this amazing referral. They loved me. They said I was exactly what their friend or their neighbor or their colleague needed. So that's fantastic, right? But then what happens next? Well, they Google you and crickets. No compelling reviews to build confidence, a website that either looks dated or doesn't clearly explain what you do, no video, no sense of personality or process, just nothing. And that inquiry, that call, it just never happens. So I want you to think about this. Trusted recommendation in, absolutely nothing to answer it online. And so what happens is it's an opportunity lost, right? Not because you didn't do great work, but because your digital footprint wasn't ready to back the word of mouth. I hope this is making sense. And I believe for many of you listening today, you can probably relate to this. So here is the burning question. What went wrong? Why have referrals, once an automatic yes, why have they not converted? And more importantly, what can we do to fix this starting right now? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be unpacking in today's episode. I'm going to be diving into why this is a trend that is growing and that is really grounded in data and behavior that we're all experiencing. And then I'll hand off a simple action packed roadmap that ensures that your referrals convert instead of vanishing into the void. And I'm going to be sharing some research with you that really backs this up. So, this episode is about empowering you to take back control. You see, referrals still matter, but only if your online presence reflects the value that you already deliver in person. All right, so let's jump in. So let's slow down for a moment and look at the numbers because referrals still matter, but they're truly just the starting point of today's journey. So, yes, referrals do lead the way. In fact, in a study from FindLaw's 2024 U.S. Consumer Legal Needs Survey of approximately 2,000 adults with recent legal needs, nearly 48% of respondents said they first learned about their attorney through a referral. So, no surprise there, right? So, someone they know and trust, like a friend, family member, or colleague. And really, that means recommendations remain a vital source for new business. But here's the kicker. Among those same folks who ended up contacting an attorney that they learned about online or received a referral from them, a whopping 82% consulted online reviews to help guide their decision. And nearly 40% said that those reviews were their primary source of information. So, in other words, for a lot of people, reviews now outweigh the referral itself. But it doesn't stop there. So, here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. An overwhelming 97% of respondents used search engines, like your typical Google, to look up the attorney. So that means that the very first place most people go after receiving your name, it's not your office. They go straight to the search bar. Okay. And this is all research founded by FindLaw. So, why does this matter? And why does it keep getting overlooked? So, think of it like this: a referral is your invitation, but your online presence determines whether the guest actually shows up. Okay. So without credible reviews, that automatic trust that was built through word of mouth can vanish at first glance. So with a confusing site or maybe zero digital visibility, your referral might slip away before you ever even get a chance to respond. And even the best referrals won't protect you if your online front door isn't polished and welcoming. Okay, so once again, here's the research: 48% of clients first learned via someone they knew, 82% used online reviews to decide, approximately 40% called reviews their main deciding factor, and 97% conducted a Google or similar search. So here's the bottom line: referrals get you noticed, but your online presence closes the deal. And that's the new landscape that we're operating in. It's not just about having referrals anymore, it's about having an online presence that complements trust. Okay, so let's move into what happens after that spark of interest, right? Because here's the deal: today's potential clients are pretty savvy. They don't just click once and call it a day. Think of them like experienced shoppers. They don't put all their trust in a single storefront. They window shop, right? So they compare, they validate. And once again, the data backs it up. Nearly 9 in 10 prospective clients, that's about 90%, will visit 2 or more websites before deciding whether to reach out. So whether that's your company website, then they'll check out your social media and anything else that Google is saying about you. So that means that they're cross checking you across platforms, sizing up your credibility, and making sure that you're consistent and trustworthy everywhere you appear. And it doesn't stop with the website, right? Today, visual content plays a huge role. When people seek information online, about 1 in 6, so approximately 16 to 17%, look for video content. And when they do, where do they go first? You got it, YouTube. So 79% go to YouTube, 69% check out social media platforms, and 58% even explore law firm websites for video. So once again, it's the same research source. So what's the takeaway here? Well, your digital ecosystem, reviews, website, video content, social presence, all of it needs to be polished, cohesive, and ready. And it can't be fragmented or inconsistent or incomplete. Because if a client notices, for example, that maybe your website is clean and professional, but your social media is silent or your YouTube channel is empty, that mismatch actually raises a red flag. And chances are they bounce before you even realize it. So, multi touch behavior is really the new normal. And people are not impulsive, they investigate. And clients will vet multiple platforms to feel secure about their choice. And inconsistencies across different touch points erode trust very quickly. All right, so now that we've grounded ourselves in how people actually behave online, I think it's important to get strategic with a clear method to make every one of those touch points work for you and not against you, right? That's going to be really important. By the way, if you're finding this episode valuable, I've covered related topics in past episodes that can help deepen your understanding. Be sure to check it out. I'll drop the links in the show notes so you can easily find them. Okay, so a game plan that you've been probably waiting for. So you've got the context, right? Why referrals alone don't cut it anymore. Now I really want to map out exactly what you need to curate in your online presence and how to do it so that referrals become real conversations. Okay, so let's take a look at online reviews and reputation. So we know that reviews are more important than ever. Once again, 82% of clients who contacted an attorney found online reviews influential in their decision making, and almost 40% said that they were the primary deciding factor. Plus, broader consumer trends now show that 95% of people read reviews before hiring any service, and that is huge. So, how do we make this work? Well, I think first off, you need to ask deliberately. After a successful engagement, you need to follow up with a personal note, or maybe if it's in person, that's even better, asking if they'd consider sharing their experience, whether it's a Google review or another specific directory, whatever it may be, you need to make that specific ask. You also need to showcase prominently. So, what do I mean by this? You need to embed those testimonials on your homepage, on your about page, on your social media. You need to spread it to as many online platforms as possible. And then you also need to engage authentically, right? So you need to respond to reviews, big or small, with both gratitude and clarity, right? Even constructive feedback addressed gracefully can really build trust. So, what we also know is that nearly 9 out of 10 potential clients visit 2 to 5 websites before contacting a lawyer. Okay. And so, your website, as I mentioned before, isn't just a business card, it's really the front door to your practice. And it's the bare minimum that you need to have. So, how do we elevate this? Well, first off, you need to ensure usability, right? Fast loading, mobile responsive is also very important, and intuitively organized sites really keep people exploring. Your homepage should answer who you help, what you do, and how to contact you within seconds. That's super important. And transparency is also key, where you need to include ballpark pricing or service packages to reduce uncertainty. And also important to feature reviews, awards, bar credentials, logos of professional associations, or press mentions. Those are all things that you should be featuring. And tools like Google Analytics really help you to see where people click and where they drop off, right? So, very helpful to adjust your layout or your content based on that. So, video content, as I mentioned, continues to rise in legal marketing. So, about 1 in 6 people searching for legal information engage with video. So, once again, here's the breakdown: 79% use YouTube, 69% go to social media platforms, and 58% stay on firm websites to actually watch video content. So, we know that video humanizes your practice and it really can build trust in seconds. So, how do you integrate this? Well, I think you need to start small. You can go for 60 to 90-second clips answering FAQs, example, what is mediation or how does arbitration work? And then you need to post it to multiple channels. So you can post it to YouTube, you can embed it on your website, you can share it across your social media platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and make sure it just aligns with where your audience is. And then it's also important to repurpose it smartly. So clip into short quotes, subtitles, and even short reels. Okay. So I think the next area is social and email. And so staying visible really matters, and these tools can really help you deliver it, right? So social media, 71 to 84% of law firms use social media for marketing, and many report new leads coming from this. So email marketing, it still delivers stellar ROI. Okay. It's one of the most cost effective ways to nurture relationships and referrals. So, how do you make this work? Well, let's start with social media. You need to be consistent and helpful. So, you need to share those educational videos, those relevant articles, the testimonials, the behind the scene glimpses that humanize your practice. That's going to be key. You also need to prioritize platforms where you know your audience is. So, for example, LinkedIn is definitely one of those places. Maybe it's also Facebook, it's Instagram, maybe it's X, right? So, think about where you need to be, where your ideal audience hangs out, and make sure that you are posting there consistently. So, in terms of email, you need to really create shareable content and really think about the lead magnet feature so that you can get new email subscribers. And a lead magnet could consist of sending maybe a tip sheet or a checklist, 5 documents to have ready before your mediation. And so you really need to think about how to grow your audience through email and lead magnets. You also need to segment and personalize. So, personalized subject lines can really boost open rates by over 50%. And at SG and Associates, this is something we do all the time with our clients. We know what those personalized subject lines should be to actually get people to open an email. So, it's going to be important to make sure that every detail of your email program is addressed. So you need to use email tools to measure open rates, click rates, and really tailor your next emails towards really what resonates. So here is the full roadmap for this. Reviews trust test your reputation instantly. A refined website validates the referral. Video content builds connection quicker than a phone call, right? And social and email really helps you stay visible and in the conversation, but only when it's done consistently. So, this is not marketing fluff. This is about making sure referrals convert. Because that is, what we're seeing right now is that referrals are not converting as they used to because of the fact that a lot of professionals don't have enough information curated online or information that's really going to get the attention of the buyer. Okay, so let's circle back for a moment. I want you to think about that referral that you received. Think of it as your personal invitation, if you will. So it's that warm handshake that gets someone interested, but your online presence, that's what decides whether they actually follow through and reach out. So here's a little challenge for you. I want you to engage in this quick 5-question audit that you can do right now. So let's get started with it. So the first question is, do you have recent visible reviews? So that's the first question you need to ask yourself. Can someone see fresh, credible feedback from happy clients right when they land on your site? Okay. And so we're not talking about testimonials or great feedback from people that goes back 15 years ago. We're looking for more current testimonials and visible reviews. So, question number 2 is, does your website clearly answer questions and invite contact? So, it has to be crystal clear about what you do, who you help, and how to reach you in just a couple of clicks. So, the third question is your video content helpful and accessible? So, do you have short, friendly videos that explain what you do, ready to build trust and clarity in under 90 seconds? That's what you need to ask yourself. Number 4 is, are you staying visible via social media consistently? So, are you showing up regularly with helpful content, testimonials, or a peek behind the scenes so that people actually remember you? Question number 5 is, are you using email to share value and to actually prompt more shares, right? Do you send like a simple tip or resource, like 5 documents to bring before mediation that are really just easy to share and helps keep you top of mind? Okay, so if any of that checks off, fantastic. You're already set up to convert more referrals. And if some of these boxes are empty, you now know exactly what to fix. Okay, so if you're still with me, you're already ahead of the curve. And so, today I really got real about something that honestly no one talks nearly enough about. So, referrals used to be the gold standard, the warm nod that built your practice. But what I'm seeing right now, and probably many of you listening to this episode will most likely agree, that right across the legal and dispute resolution world is that referrals alone don't carry the weight that they used to. So you might get that glowing recommendation, right? Someone says you're exactly what their friend needs, and then crickets. So a blank Google search, no visible reviews, a website that doesn't explain what you do, no videos that show you as a person, or could even be a podcast so they could listen to you. And that call just never happens. And once again, it's not because you're not capable, it's because your digital foundation wasn't ready to back up a referral. And this is the challenge many professionals are facing today. That's the story that we really unpacked here today because I layered in real data, real behavior, and a roadmap to help you change that. So here's where the power lies. A referral is just your invitation, but your online presence is what determines whether they walk through the door. I hope that's making sense. Now, here's your moment to step into action. Here's your motivational challenge of 5 quick questions to really audit your digital presence, right? Recent visible reviews, you're going to need to take a look at it. A website that answers and invites, videos that are helpful and easy to access, that consistent social media visibility, and email that provides value and prompts lots of shares. So there you have it. You've got the invitation. Let your online presence be the welcome that they never forget. Thank you for joining me today, and I believe in the impact that you can make. And now really is the time to use this roadmap because I believe in your ability to be seen and to get noticed. So, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a colleague or leave a review. I would be most appreciative. Until next time, stay intentional, stay visible, and keep turning referrals into real connections. See you in the next episode.